Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. Today we'll take a look at how you can create cables in seconds or minutes depending on how you work with the tool. So the tool which we're talking about is not a tool that we've not talked about before on the channel, and actually this is more like an update to a previous video which we did that has to do with how you can create complex cables directly in Maya. That video was well detailed as we went through how you can make cables by default, and then we proceeded to how you can make complex cables by using a very simple plugin that you can get directly from the Autodesk App Store. And I do know a couple of people don't know about the Autodesk App Store, but this is a place where you can find some very cool plugins, add-ons that you can simply use depending on what Autodesk tool you're working with. So from here you can find as many of them as possible, and these tools might actually help improve the way you work with your 3D models. So the tool which you're looking at is a tool that has to do with creating cables. So the wire tool used to exist here, and over a period of time a lot of people used this and had good compliments with that, but I think for about 4 months to 6 months now this tool is no longer available right here. So a good thing is I do keep a copy of most of the softwares I own, and what I've done is I've actually gone ahead to upload this directly on my Gumroad, so anyone that wants to get it right now can simply go over to the Gumroad. So I'm just going to go through and show you guys where you can find it. Go over to Gumroad and you're going to find the tool called Wire Tool. So directly from here you can proceed to download this and then go ahead and work with it. And if this is the first time you're hearing about this tool, this is an amazing tool that I think anyone that is into creating things that looks like, you know, ropes, cables, wires, really needs to own. So I'm going to start off very simple by dropping a very simple plane right here. So this is just for the benefit of those that haven't used this tool before, and with this here you can now proceed to creating cables all around. So for this I may want to simply, you know, come over here and make this a simple live tool and create a couple of cables. So I'm just going to create, you know, a couple of Bezier cables around here. And you can now see that we're using the handle to direct where this goes. So with this done, the next thing which I would like to do is just simply hide this, turn this off, select this. Now you may want to go over to create, go down to where you have the wire tool, and then you can get the wire happening. So now that you've done this, you may also want to select the curve and simply hide this. I will also select this, go over to the wire mesh creator, and from here is where I can dictate what kind of, you know, what kind of profile that I want directly from here. And I can also dictate if I want this to be a flat object or if I want this to be this way. So it's totally up to you how you want your profile to look like. And if we select something like this, we can choose to also make this a star object, or we can leave it as a convex one. So if we make this a star object, we can also play with how much we want the inner radius to travel. So in case you want to get this going in and out, if you want to also increase the amount of sides that you want, you can simply go ahead and do something like that. If you want to make this a convex, you can also choose to make something looking like this. Now if you're thinking about patterns and stuff, there is also a pattern, you know, section directly here which you can use to do some very crazy and interesting things as well. So right now we've seen this as circle, and you can choose to make this line. And if we set this as circle right now, you can also increase and reduce the sub profiles that you have, and you can still choose to also change how much coverage that this is going to own. And the beautiful thing with this is because they are all having parameters, it's also very easy for you to proceed with animating them individually depending on what you want to get. So I can choose to make this very small and also choose to increase this a little bit more. Let's increase this a little bit more, and then you can, you know, proceed with making animations that would happen like this. But this is actually not where the fun starts, because the fun actually starts making a lot of sense when you increase the number of steps and then you choose to twist this. So right now with this you can twist as much as you want, and with this it is pretty easy to have a very twisted looking set of cables. So once again, if you want the very detailed video where we talked about every single thing that you need to know about this, I'm also going to put this video's link in the description where you can find everything that you need to know about how you can get complex stuff happening and how you can have fun doing that. And also, since we are talking about this, I think I should go ahead and proceed and talk about the animation. So in case you want to use the cables to rig this, it's fairly simple. You can simply switch over to the control vertex, and then you can choose to use this to control the positioning of the cable. You can also switch this to the edit point and also use the edit point to control the positions of the cable. So if you're working with a wire deformer, or you're working with something that simply has to do with curves and you're trying to animate your cables, I think this tool is just one of the most perfect ones that you might want to get. And at the same time, for those wondering how they can, create cables using profiles from meshes that they have, how you can do this is also simple. So let's believe that we are working with a helix, for example, and we want to use this helix as a profile, and we just want to create a cable that travels this same point, but we want it to be twisted. So how you can do this is also something that is extremely simple, because this works for any kind of model that you have that simply has edges running across it like veins. So what I'm going to do is just simply select the edges, which is running all the way from ground up, and I will go over to modify, because almost everything happens right here, and then I'll select convert polygon edges to curves. And once I'm done with that, I'll also follow the same procedure which we've just done, which has to do with us going over to create, go over to your wire tools, and also select this right here. So with this done, of course, you're going to notice that we'll have a whole lot of chunk, but this is not a problem, since we can always go over to our wire mesh creator and simply increase the amount of step that we have. And at the same time, once we're done with that, I think it's also worth it to reduce the amount of scale radius. So I'm going to turn that down, and by this time, if you want to throw in a couple of patterns, you can simply do all of that cool stuff, proceed with twisting these things and getting some very interesting stuff going for you. And with all of this, you can simply select this, press 3 on your keyboard just to get a very smooth mesh. It totally depends on what you want to use this to achieve at the end of the day. You can proceed with doing all of that. So if you want this to be a single static mesh on its own, you can have this as it is. Go over to your edit, go to the section where you have delete by type, and simply delete the history, and you're going to have a single static mesh here. And just a very tiny tip, if you're working with curves and you probably want to draw your curves, it's also very interesting to see that if you draw curves anyhow you want, let's say we want a curve like this, and we want to be able to manipulate how much control vertices that we have, you can select this, go over to where you have your curves, and from here you can simply proceed to rebuilding this. So from here I can choose to rebuild this however I want. Right now I can simply select this and say I would like them to be 20, and just simply hit this. And with that done, next thing which you want to do is right click, switch over here. Now you have only 20. So with this, it's very easy for you to proceed with manipulating your curves, and this is going to save you a lot of time while trying to create curves across poles, walls, and all those awesome looking places. And that's about it. I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. And once again, if you want to get this, you can go to the description, go over to the Gumroad, where you'll be able to get this for free. And if you want to get a detailed video about how you can work with this tool, which I'm also going to keep links in the description for you to be able to access that. So tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section, and if you like this video or you learned something from it, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new here, it's going to be amazing for you to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or the next update. And until I see you guys again with a tutorial update, Free Friday, Tutorial Tuesday, tips and tricks, things like this. Peace.